Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, Harrow, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, Harrow, Dumpster Fire, Harrow, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, David Grush, Dumpster Fire, Harrow, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, David Grush, for
the masses. Yeah.
Gary Nolan, Harrow, Gary Nolan, Arrow found no evidence of extraterrestrial technology, the lack of any evidence. Arrow found no evidence of extraterrestrial technology, the lack of any evidence. Trust me, bro. Don't worry about the evidence. David Grush. Trust me, bro. Don't worry about the evidence. David Grush. With zero evidence.
No credible evidence thus far.
With zero evidence.
No credible evidence thus far.
Kirkpatrick's evidence. Where is Arrow's evidence? Kirkpatrick's evidence. Where is Arrow's evidence?
If I call your mother a hooker. If I call your mother a hooker. If I call your mother a hooker. Mother a hooker. If I call your mother a hooker. If I call your mother a hooker. If I call your mother a hooker. Mother a hooker.
Aliens and extraterrestrials. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
If I call your mother a hooker. Mother a hooker.
Aliens and extraterrestrials. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Aliens and extraterrestrials. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
If I call your mother a hooker. Mother a hooker.
Aliens and extraterrestrials. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Aliens and extraterrestrials. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Arrow.
If I call your mother a hooker. Mother a hooker.
Arrow.
Hooker. 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 Hooker.
Arrow.
Hooker. 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 Hooker.
Arrow.
Hooker. 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 Hooker.
Arrow.
Hooker. Hooker. Hooker.
Arrow.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. And my thanks to Simon Fly for the excellent edit. So I wanted to do a different show tonight, but due to some scheduling conflicts with the guest, I had to change things up a little bit. And one of you, thank you kindly, sent me this video, which we will be talking about tonight. And it is from a man named Matt Ford, 2 T's, by the way, with Matt, who runs something called the Good Propaganda. Well, he calls it the Good Trouble Show. I call it the Good Propaganda Show. And essentially what Matt Ford's function is to suck up to UFO celebrities who are proven liars and pretend they're not liars and, you know, be a cheerleader for a bunch of scammer, liar, grifters. That is Matt Ford's function. He, and I don't know if he truly believes this or if he's a paid sort of operative. After all, he has a background in making political propaganda for a living. It's also interesting that he works for Penn and Teller, and I gotta love that. He works for Penn and Teller, who had the television show Bullshit. I wonder if Penn and Teller know that their lighting technician is one of the biggest repeaters and amplifiers of complete and totally fake people and fake stories on the internet. I wonder if they know that as they're hiring him to do work for them. I don't think that they would appreciate having someone on their staff who pushes complete and total utter bullshit and nonsense on the internet with most of his time. In this video, we see him commenting that he had to, take some time off of his show to, earn a living because he's not making enough money. I challenge Matt Ford, show your YouTube statistics. You're not making enough money with your propaganda show to survive. You have to go do lighting tech jobs for Penn and Teller. I don't think so. You'd be surprised at what he makes on YouTube alone. You'd be very, very surprised. It's certainly 5 or 10 times what we make here for telling people the truth. And he makes that for lying to people. And let's be clear, a lie by omission is still a lie. You know, this man basically goes on the internet and pretends in the delusional fantasies that he promotes that they're real. But in order to do this, he has to do a lot of mental gymnastics, first of all, to explain away, you know, people debunking these things. And secondly, he uses incredibly problematic sources like Rob Heatherly for stories. Remember that? The fake Wikigate story? Completely fake story. It was a non-story from an idiot in the form of Rob Heatherly, who, by the way, was on one of the people that was threatening, intimidating, and harassing people, including women and people's children, for Lue Elizondo. And I was one of those people. So great job, propaganda minister. And by the way, he had that person as a source for this fake story. And Rob Heatherly had a playlist on YouTube that was, I think it was hours and hours and hours long, of 8 and 10-year-old girls dancing on YouTube. And the playlist was titled Sexy Dancing, 8 and 10-year-old girls. So this is the quality of people that we are dealing with here, who disseminate this false information, fake information, and ridiculously hyped up, over-sensationalized, evidence-free stories. That's the best sort of background that I could give you about this person. And it's interesting that he knows absolutely zero about the history of UFOs, because anybody that knows anything at all, even somebody that has a few years of you know, knowledge gathering about UFOs and aliens, could be truthful in telling you that the history of UFOs and aliens is filled, absolutely inundated and filled with liars, scammers, grifters, hoaxers, UFO profiteers that do all of this for money, including fake sightings and fake alien contacts and more. And Mr. Ford never acknowledges that. And in fact, all of the pro UFO and alien shows that you see on YouTube, and by the way, there's hundreds more shows like that than shows like mine that actually give you the truth and the real story. None of them acknowledge that the history of UFOs and aliens is literally filled with people being caught faking fake alien and UFO sightings for money. And I think that says a lot about the so-called disclosure movement. You know, how can you sit there with a straight face and pretend that this thing is not filled with liars, scammers, fraudsters, hoaxers, con artists, cult leaders? And by the way, those are just the good guys in this thing. It's so stupid. And I, for one, am thankful that years ago, you know, you think you're getting the red pilled, right? You start buying these books and watching these documentaries. You start buying into it. Go, yeah, the government's covering this all up. Yeah, they're hiding it all from us. Oh, they got the bodies in some secret hangar somewhere, either at Hangar 18 or Area 51. Oh, for sure, this is all real. But then you get a little further deep in and you start recognizing all these patterns of deception, all the hoaxes, all the fraud, all the con artists that are involved in this. It literally attracts con artists because people so desperately want to believe that this is all true that, you know, they literally give away all their critical thinking skills and even just basic reasoning skills in order to believe in the great UFO deception that all of these people, or most of them, many of them, are pushing. And just to be clear, certainly there are some good people and good researchers who do give you the whole story. But Matt Ford's not one of those people. He gives you just the pro aliens are all real, they're all here, But in order to do that, he has to do some things, like pretend that Lue Elizondo was a Pentagon UFO program director. He wasn't. That's been proven over and over again. Lue Elizondo lied to the New York Times, lied to TTSA investors, and is right now, in my opinion, lying to sell and market a book. He never ran a real government UFO program, Matt. That's your hero, a proven liar who's just here for the money, who's literally lying to people to collect money from stupid people. And Matt Ford is standing there going, can I help you lie? Can I help you perpetuate these lies so that I can make some money too and help you make more money? Papa Lou, can I do that? And then, of course, this clown gets rewarded with access to these so-called UFO celebrities who have all this insider knowledge. And isn't it wonderful that everybody waited 6 years while Lue Elizondo did his, clown tour pretending that he had all this insider knowledge that the government knew about aliens and UFOs. For years, Lue Elizondo danced around and pretended like he had all this secret knowledge that he could share. One day he'll be able to share it, or, and then Lue Elizondo lies to everybody that he has NDAs. But we find out from the Arrow report, there are no UAP or UFO specific NDAs. Lue Elizondo lied to all of us for at least 6 years. And he also pretended that he's got all this secret knowledge, like, I can only go so far because of my NDAs. He didn't have NDAs. He lied to us all. There's no such thing as an NDA specific to UAP or UFOs. Lue Elizondo pretended that he had all this secret insider knowledge because he ran a government UFO program. Then we start peeling back the layers of deception, and what we find out is Lue Elizondo never ran a real funded Pentagon program. He had a hobby while he was working at the Pentagon doing something completely unrelated. Then we get the stunning revelations that he's been making everybody wait 6 years for in his book, which you got to buy, of course. And what is the secret knowledge that he's been dancing around pretending he's had for what, 6 years now? What is that secret knowledge about government, alien, and UFOs? Oh, there is none. His book basically amounts to Hal Puthoff told me, Jim Semivan told me, same old stories, SOS, or same old it. That's what we get. And the fact that there are people willing to lick Lue Elizondo's asshole every show they do, and wait till you see the defenses. This guy's losing his goddamn mind. And what made him lose his mind? People are posting excerpts from Lue Elizondo's book in which Lue Elizondo claims that he has superpowers and that he appeared to a terrorist as an angel and shook his bed with his superpowers. Welcome to Clown World, friends. Welcome to Clown World. So I've got some notes, and I want to get into, before we begin on the video, I definitely want to get into speaking specifically about UFO cults and cult dynamics. Because I got to tell you, friends, people like Matt Ford, you're in a cult. If you can't acknowledge simple facts like Lue Elizondo never ran a Pentagon UFO program, then you, sir, are in a cult. This is how cults work and operate. You can't question the leaders of a cult. Even if you're right, you get punished for it. And we've seen people be punished for questioning this cult-like leader of this fake disclosure movement. It's really a disclosure for dollars movement. That's what it is. He's trying to run through the UFO community and grab every dollar he can. But I have a feeling that after this book, Lue Elizondo will need to get a real job, right? He'll need to get a real job. And while he's crying poor, pretending that he's living in some tiny trailer somewhere, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars has Lue Elizondo made? TV show deals, documentary deals, book deals, live speaking deals, right? The guy's made probably into the hundreds of thousands of dollars off of UFOs, and he's still not satisfied. he needs more money, and he's crying on the internet, right, that he's living in a trailer. And by the way, while that may be technically accurate, it's not like he's living in some dumpy, camping trailer. And I believe he owns multiple homes. So bullshit. I call bullshit on all of that. So Matt Ford is sort of the propaganda minister. And it doesn't matter how fake a story is, like the Robert Salas UFOs shut down nuclear missiles story. No, that story is completely and totally fake. And it was proven by Brian Dunning in the movie, the UFO movie They Don't Want You to See. And we went over that. There's a power failure. And yeah, because of a power failure, missiles went down. And the so-called UFOs were cited a separate event a week prior to the event of the power failure and the missiles shutting down. But Matt Ford can't acknowledge, Occam's razor, that maybe, just maybe, Robert Salas is a wackadoo. Remember, he forgot to tell you that Robert Salas also, when people got tired of the missiles shut down by alien story, started telling stories of his superpowers and alien abductions as well. So, this is how this UFO lie and deception works. You have a guest on, and you just forget to tell your audience that an excellent critic and skeptic, Brian Dunning, proved that story is 100% fake. It's two different stories confabulated into one. But hey, if you get a disclosure boner listening to this wackadoo Robert Salas tell you aliens shut down nuclear missiles, then, good for you and good for that disclosure boner. I know that's what you want. You got to get the disclosure boner. And Matt Ford's great at giving everybody disclosure boners, man, and doing the UFO circle jerk. He asks no real questions. He is not critical. He will interview any of the grifters and scammers that have been caught multiple times selling fake stories. He will promote people who have been caught multiple times selling fake stories, and talk about them positively like they're heroes of disclosure. This is clown world, friends. This is clown world where we live. And so we're going to get into the first. I want to give Mr. Ford a history lesson, however, because for anybody to never acknowledge that there's a great alien swindle taking place, it shows you they're not being honest with you. And I love how all these people are here for the truth. And the way they bring you the truth is essentially by lying to you about the history of this whole thing. So I have an article that I've written here called The Great Alien Swindle: How Deception, Hoaxes, and Profit-Driven Motives Have Shaped UFO Narratives. No one can argue that the allure of extraterrestrial life has captivated the human imagination for centuries, with tales of UFO sightings, visiting space or starcraft, alien encounters, and even alien abductions, providing a fertile ground for speculation and wonder, and also making money. However, the history of this UFO mythology or lore is marred by a very darker reality, a long trail of deception, hoaxes, and profiteering that has exploited this public curiosity for financial gain. I believe that these things are far from innocent flights of fancy. Many stories about UFOs and alien abductions have been deliberately concocted, exaggerated, or manipulated specifically to turn a profit, leaving a legacy of skepticism and disillusionment in their wake. So if we do look at history, the birth of the UFO industry, and let's be clear, it has been described as a billion-dollar industry. Think about just, for example, Stephen Greer, who's made millions of dollars perpetrating mostly fake stories. It is a billion-dollar industry. The UFO thing is an industry, and we have to understand that. So the modern UFO phenomenon can be traced back to a 1947 sighting by pilot Kenneth Arnold, who reported seeing saucer-like objects flying at incredible speeds near Mount Rainier, Washington. This sighting sparked a complete and total media frenzy and coined the term flying saucer. It also triggered a wave of reports of UFOs and flying saucers across the United States. But what began as a genuine report quickly spiraled into a profitable enterprise or industry for those eager to cash in on the public's fascination with aliens, flying saucers, and extraterrestrials. One of the earliest and most infamous examples of UFO profiteering was George Adamski, who I believe exploited the masses. So as interest in UFOs grew, so did the number of hoaxes and fraudulent claims, many of which were specifically designed to capitalize on public gullibility. In the 1950s, one of the most notorious hoaxes involved George Adamski, who was an so-called early contactee. George Adamski claimed to have had repeated contact with benevolent extraterrestrials from the planet Venus. Of course, this was before the general scientific consensus was aware that Venus could not inhabit, life. Adamski's elaborate tales of space travel and interplanetary diplomacy were supported by doctored photographs of UFOs, which he presented as irrefutable evidence. His books, such as Flying Saucers Have Landed, became bestsellers, earning him a great deal of money. And Adamski built a lucrative career as a UFO lecturer. Despite his claims being debunked by many experts, including photographic experts and more, and even having some of his one-time followers turn on him and tell the real story that he hoaxed many of these things, Adamski's core followers remain devoted, which is a testament to the power of belief over evidence. Another egregious example of UFO profiteering and hoaxing is the case of Ray Santilli, who in 1995 released footage purporting to show the autopsy of an alien being recovered from the Roswell crash. The so-called alien autopsy video became an international sensation virtually overnight, generating a huge amount of media coverage and, of course, a huge amount of financial gain for Mr. Santilli. However, the footage was eventually exposed as a hoax, with Santilli essentially admitting that it was a reconstruction of a real event he claimed to have witnessed, a claim for which he offered no verifiable proof. Mr. Santilli claimed that the original film that he had was degraded and destroyed, so they created a recreation of the original real alien autopsy film. The alien autopsy hoax is a glaring example of how fabrications can be used and can exploit both media outlets and, of course, the public for profit. Then, when we get to the 1960s and 70s, we see the emergence of another very lucrative facet of the UFO phenomenon, alien abduction stories. One of the most famous of these is the case of Betty and Barney Hill, who in 1961 claimed to have been abducted by extraterrestrials or aliens in New Hampshire. And while the Hills account was initially treated with skepticism, it was later popularized by journalist John Fuller in his 1966 book, The Interrupted Journey. The Hills story, though lacking concrete evidence, became a template for countless other abduction tales that came after theirs. Another figure in the alien abduction industry was Whitley Strieber, whose 1987 book, Communion, claimed to be a true account of his abduction by otherworldly beings. Communion became an international bestseller, catapulting Strieber to fame and spawning a media empire, which he runs to this day. Yet, Strieber's credibility has been consistently questioned, with critics pointing out inconsistencies in his accounts and suggesting that his work was more fiction than fact. After all, before coming out with the Communion book, Whitley was a fiction writer who wrote The Howling and many other stories that were sold to Hollywood. But despite this, Whitley Strieber and others like him have continued to profit from the fear and fascination surrounding alien abductions, often at the expense of vulnerable individuals who come to believe that they too have been taken by extraterrestrials. And many of these people look to people like Whitley Strieber for answers, and certainly buy their products in the search for those answers. We also have to take a moment to realize that many of the profiteers are profiteering from fear and misinformation. The UFO and alien abduction phenomena has been fertile ground for conspiracy theorists who have used these stories to build careers and sell books, documentaries, and speaking engagements. Figures like Bob Lazar, who claimed to work on reverse engineering alien technology at a secret government facility, have garnered significant attention and a great deal of profit, despite a lack of any verifiable evidence of their stories. Lazar's stories, like many others, taps into deep-seated fears of government secrecy and exploitation, making it a profitable, and some would say believable, narrative, regardless of whether it's true or fiction. The rise of the internet, of course, has allowed for the proliferation of UFO-related scams. There are literally UFO scam channels on YouTube, like Third Phase of Moon and others. There's also websites selling fake UFO footage to online forums where so-called experts peddle out their outlandish theories in exchange for donations and membership fees. These modern-day snake oil salesmen continue the tradition of exploiting public curiosity and fear for financial gain, showing that the deceptive practices surrounding UFOs are alive and well in the digital age. But I must caution you that there is a cost of belief, and that cost will leave you with a legacy of deception. The long history of deception, hoaxes, and profit-driven motives in the UFO and alien abduction narrative has left a trail of disillusionment and disappointment for many. For every genuine report or sincere belief, there are countless examples of exploitation and fraud that have tarnished the credibility of the entire phenomenon. There's a reason people make fun of this. The willingness of so many to believe in these stories, despite the overwhelming evidence of deceit, underscores a troubling aspect of human nature, our susceptibility to manipulation, especially when it plays on our fears and hopes. Ultimately, the greatest harm caused by these deceptions is not the financial cost, but the erosion of trust in real or legitimate scientific inquiry into mysteries, and the stigmatization of those who may genuinely seek answers to the mysteries of the universe. The history of UFO profiteering is a cautionary tale, reminding us that we all need to approach extraordinary claims with skepticism and demand evidence before accepting sensational stories as the truth. So there's a little history lesson. And I think it's so very important that so many people that are so pro aliens and UFOs don't you at least have to acknowledge that there's a lot of scammers in this. There's a lot of hoaxers. There's a lot of liars. There's a lot of grifters. And, you know, I believe that Mr. Ford has hosted many of these grifters. And instead of holding their feet to the fire and demanding some accountability for previous fake stories they've sold or lies they've told the public, he promotes their lies. He amplifies their lies, and he profits from their lies. So congratulations, Matt Ford. You probably make a really nice living on your show lying to people every day. And let's be clear, a lie by omission is still a lie. Like having a guest on your show and forgetting to tell your audience that they've been caught selling fake stories over and over and over again, or having, promoting Lue Elizondo and forgetting to tell everybody that he's a fake Pentagon UFO program director that's lied to the public for years. That's a problem. That's a real problem. And while I understand that my opinion is not popular, I've been right about every story that we've run here for years. And there are these UFO profiteering scumbags like Matt Ford who make 10 times the money I do just by lying. Just leave out all the evidence. Don't give them the whole story. Keep the disclosure boner hard. Let them get that disclosure boner, and they'll send donations my way for reinforcing their pre-existing beliefs that this is all real. Well, if it's all real, why is it built on so many deceptions, half-truths, and fake stories? If it was, the truth is the truth. And that's another thing. The truth, Mr. Ford, does not require your participation, but a lie does. You actively participate in lies on every show. And we're going to start fact-checking you more. So consider today just, an opening here, because I'm tired of this. I'm sick of this. And if you're going to lie to people, then I'm allowed to tell people that you're lying to people and why. And where do you see this meltdown? It is something else. We're going to take a moment to welcome in the live chat. And first, thanks some very kind and generous person. We have one person sent 2 super chats. Rotary Motion, a kind and generous £2. Says UFOs and shish kebab. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And Rotary Motion with another £2 super chat. Remember, folks, we're a viewer-supported show, and we appreciate all of you. So if you want to help, hit that money button, buy me a coffee. The description of the video or podcast will tell you how to do that. Join our Patreon, become a YouTube channel member, send a PayPal pledge. Keep us honest. Abductions are done by us. Mind, government, control, profit. Many people think that, and Greer has that whole thing about they're fake. The aliens, when you get abducted by aliens, it's government fake alien robots. Yeah. But I want to thank you, Rotary Motion, for being a longtime show supporter, and for your kindness, generosity, and support. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. If you send us a PayPal pledge, just add a note. We read that. If you buy us a coffee, add a note. We read that. Thank you for your kindness, Rotary Motion.
Raise the cash.
All right, so we are going to get into this video because I'm sorry, but somebody sent this to me. And wait till you see what he's so upset because people are posting excerpts of Lue Elizondo's book that make him look like a lying ass clown. That's what he's upset about. Oh, man, everybody's going to know that this Lue Elizondo's bullshitter. Yeah, everybody should know that. It's ridiculous for anybody to think otherwise, but, welcome to the prison of belief. It's a prison or a cult. The whole situation is kind of ridiculous. I'm going to put my fair use banner up because, of course, this is transformative work. We're educating the public, and we are going to be critiquing this video and laughing at it because it is a laugh riot to me anyway. I don't know. It's just funny to see him so upset because people are posting segments of a book, right? Like, why are you upset at Lue Elizondo for lying to everybody that he's got superpowers? But I better keep my mouth shut or Lue Elizondo may shake my bed tonight. It's so stupid, so childish, and so ridiculous. And these are your heroes, these lying ass clowns? Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. So fair use, this is a transformative work. We're educating the public and we're critiquing the video that we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and allowable by law. Let's get into it, friends. One moment.
Glad to be back on the air. Oh, I also want to say as well, I think it was sort of the beginning of last week, I was just almost getting inundated by messages from folks saying, hey, we miss you. Is everything okay? Just checking in. And it was just a overwhelming outpouring of people concerned because this had been the longest I had not been on air. Also as well, as I mentioned, when I was in Vegas doing this Penn and Teller show, we were working in St.
Again, he says he works for Penn and Teller. I wonder if Penn and Teller know that he's the biggest purveyor of UFO scammers. Like he's one of the biggest promoters of UFO fairy tales and UFO scammers on the internet. And he works for Penn and Teller, they had a show called BS. I think that's hysterical. And I wish I still had mutual friends, because I would ask them for an interview about that.
Hours, minimum 12 hours, usually 13. And because of that, and because it's a fairly intense show for me, I wasn't able to really do anything Twitter-wise. And
oh, the horror. He had to go work a real job for 2 weeks. Wow. 2 weeks, man. It must have killed you.
And certainly anything in depth as far as catching up with any of the UAP stuff. So that's why I got behind. That's why I was silent, because at the end of the day, I still have to put food on the table. And as much as I would love to be doing this 5 days a week or whatever, I have my day job to keep the family and the wife happy. So,
oh yeah, he's got to work to keep his wife happy. But what he's not telling you is that he's making probably $5,000 a month from his YouTube channel, maybe more, right? And that's not enough. So he's got to go work a real job every once in a while for 2 whole weeks. Great.
So anyway, lots to go over today. First thing I want to talk about is Lue Elizondo's book. Now, Lue Elizondo's book, Imminent, is due out August 20th. And
here he is promoting a book by a fake Pentagon UFO program director. You're helping somebody, essentially, in my opinion, commit consumer fraud, because the book is being marketed by a man who claims that he ran a Pentagon UFO program. It didn't exist. And you're helping him promote and sell a book that's being marketed on a complete and total 100% lie. And don't anybody show me that stupid Harry Reid letter, because he was in on the $22 million scam in which the American taxpayers were scammed out of $22 million so people could study werewolves and dino beavers at a spooky ranch. It's ridiculous, right? And we've got multiple confirmations out of the Pentagon and the United States government that Lue Elizondo lied. He never ran a real or funded Pentagon UFO program. It was a hobby.
And their publicist, HarperCollins, posted this clip that Lue had on his Twitter feed.
Oh, yeah. I got to contact HarperCollins and ask them for an on-the-record comment about why they're helping somebody market a book on a complete and total lie. Humanity should not be kept in the dark about the fundamental fact that we are not the only intelligent life in the universe. Like I said, Lue Elizondo is going full wackadoo. Where is the evidence in his book that we are not the only intelligent life in the universe? Oh, his evidence is Hal Puthoff told him. Oh, another wackadoo told me the aliens are real, so I'll say it. Buy my book and get your disclosure boner, right? What a crock, man. This is so stupid, childish, nonsensical garbage.
Check these out.
Oh, pardon me, friends. Yeah, of course, he's got his ads turned up to every 1 minute. 1 second. Before we went to air, I got 2 ads, I think, and it's only 10 minutes into the video. So that's 3 ads in 10 minutes. You'll notice something about the UFO profiteers. They love that AdSense money, man. Just crank those ads up to every few minutes, right? And I apologize. I did not have time today to make a mirror of this video so we wouldn't have that problem. Nobody is in a better position to tell this story than Lue Elizondo. To tell the evidence-free story, Christopher Mellon, come on, Mellon banking family, who, by the way, is the puppet master of many of these UFO profiteers, like Lue Elizondo, like Dave Grush, right? Former defense, geez, God. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, he spent his life safeguarding secrets. Now I felt in my bones that secrets for the sake of secrets could cause more harm than good. And what secrets is he telling us? That he has superpowers, and he was known as what? The czar of torture, and he was wanted by, what was it, the European Union or something, or Interpol? These stories are completely and totally ridiculous and nonsensical. I, for one, can't wait for people to start fact-checking every word in this book, because it's going to be a laugh riot when all of his fake stories come crumbling down, or at least get revealed to be what they are. Evidence-free stories. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. The aliens are here. The aliens are real. Oh, August 20th. Wow, we've only got 7 days to wait. I'm getting my copy. How about you?
All right. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, of course, this has been in the works for a while.
Yes, Lue Elizondo has spent 6 years writing this book full of completely and totally nothing new, no new evidence. Oh, there is something new. He got superpowers, and he was trained in remote viewing, and he got superpowers, and he attacked some terrorists with some other people with superpowers with a bag lunch in the basement of the Pentagon. You know, they all got together and they astrally projected to the terrorist, and they shook his bed. That's what's new. 6 years everybody's been waiting for him to spill the beans on what the government knows about aliens and UFOs. And what does he know? Hal Puthoff told me them aliens are real and I have superpowers.
And as everyone knows, this portion of this book actually leaked. Now, I skimmed through the first kind of bit that leaked out, and I decided for my sort of reading pleasure, I wasn't going to read any further.
Yeah, no, what happened is that he didn't want to read it, in my opinion, because the portion that leaked was a laugh riot of evidence-free stories. He doesn't want to admit, as many people have already admitted, that this book is a big, fat nothing burger. Because while he's been licking Lue Elizondo's balls waiting for this book to come out, he can't admit that the book is a joke.
I ordered the book a long time ago, and I just want to enjoy the book. And I also, in a way, after kind of reading the first few pages, I kind of felt a little bit kind of dirty reading this thing that was not supposed to be out there. So anyway,
the book preview was put out by Google Books. There's nothing wrong with reading a book preview. By the way, they pulled the book preview because, in my opinion, I think they pulled the book preview because they were getting roasted about all the ridiculous, evidence-free, stupid stories in this nothing burger book that everybody's waited 6 years for.
I shelved it. I've seen some folks that have posted some things up there regarding the book, and especially the debunkers. The debunkers actually, they went crazy.
Yeah, no debunkers went crazy. Some debunkers, some people would put me in that category. I always tell people I'm a truth seeker, not a debunker. If I can debunk something as fake, don't you want to know that if you're a real truth seeker? Or do you want to live in a land of fantasies, lies, and the land of make-believe? Because Lue Elizondo only ran a Pentagon UFO program in the land of make-believe. Yeah.
So Mick West, he posted literally 12 posts over this leaked portion of Lue's book, and it was just bizarre. And
yeah, it was bizarre that people are going to talk about what a joke this book is. That's what's bizarre. How dare you question our fake Pentagon UFO program director, Lue Elizondo? You're not allowed to question him. You're not allowed to make fun of him. That's a cult. That's cult-like tactics. How dare you make fun of this guy for claiming he has superpowers, and he appeared in front of a terrorist as an angel and shook his bed.
And now, I'm going to take a little side trip here. And again, this is a very loose show. There's kind of no real structure to it.
That's every show he does.
I know a lot of folks will say, Matt, you're spending way too much time on the debunkers or talking about Mick West. And I've had, for instance, Gary Nolan once messaged and said, hey, you know what? You're giving these guys too much air. But this is where
this shows that the UFO celebrities are telling him what to do and what to say. They've got their hand up this guy's ass, and he's a puppet. That's all he is. Matt Ford is a puppet. They can replace him with a Muppet doll. They ought to do that. Get like a Kermit the Frog, but make it an alien. They could, you know, have him promote their garbage, because that's what he does. They tell him what to do. They tell him what to say. And here he's admitting that they're telling him what he shouldn't do, which is give skeptics or debunkers airtime. Because you know what happens when that happens? People go and they want to hear from that skeptic if they want the whole story. And he's messing up the grift talking about these evil debunkers and skeptics.
Where I sit on this is, so you have like this Los Angeles guy that's, I guess, this out of work actor, probably drives Uber or whatever.
Yeah, and by the way, the guy who he's calling an out of work actor is right now filming a sitcom, multiple, I think it's a whole season, a whole first season of a new sitcom. And you'll have to pardon me. The name of the star of that sitcom escapes me. This guy is going to complain about misinformation and disinformation as he's lying to his audience about Lue Angeles of Lue Reviews. He's calling him an out of work actor who drives Uber. And by the way, I drove Uber for a while. There's no shame in working for a living, Matt Ford, you scumbag. Why are you degrading somebody for working for a living? That man's got, I don't know, I think he's engaged, and I don't know that he has any children, but everybody's got a family, whether it's just you and your spouse or whatever, to take care of. So he's calling him an out-of-work actor. This out-of-work actor was in a film with Tom Hanks a few months ago. They wrapped that shoot, and now he's in a sitcom with, I can't recall the guy's name. And I apologize for that. But he's in a sitcom, right? That's not an out-of-work actor, you liar. And even if he is an out-of-work actor, you're a joke, dude. You're a lighting technician. I'd put an actor, even an out-of-work one, well above a lighting technician, right? Crank up those floods, Mr. Ford, as you're degrading someone, right? And by the way, he stole Lue Angeles' gig. He's trash. He hates that guy because he knows he stole his entire show from Lue Reviews. Lue Reviews used to be the guy that promoted all these clowns and helped them promote their stuff. He got over it. Good for him. And he dared to question Lue Elizondo's, true intentions and narratives, and he got punished for it by being banished. So his whole show went to shit when he decided to turn skeptic, but now he's got this clown. They put this clown in to replace Lue. Shortly after that all happened, this guy started his show. So he has an irrational hatred towards Lue Reviews because he knows that he is a shit copy. He's like, you ever see like a show where they have a really talented actor who maybe has too big of an ego or whatever, and they replace him with a shitty, like a bad copy? That's what this is. And he's lying to everybody, calling that guy an out-of-work actor, making fun of him because he drives Uber in between acting gigs to take care of his family. Like there's some kind of shame in working for a living, right? We can't all just lick UFO celebrity buttholes and sell lies for a living, Matt Ford.
And some of these other sort of kooky folks that really don't have much of a presence or much of a media impact. They're basically carnival barkers and yeah, I mean, there's kind of nothing of value in anything that they're putting out there.
Yeah, I love how these kind of guys always attack the views of other people. Well, I'm getting more views, so I'm more important. It's easy to get views if you're willing to throw your morals and your ethics in the trash and do anything, including sell lies for a living. It's easy to get views that way, Matt Ford. You're going to see. I'm going to do Grift Month. For those unaware, I came up with a great concept. What if I could just be a grifter for 1 month out of the calendar year? right? I'll be posting fake Bigfoot footage and fake UFO footage. I'll be talking to wackadoos from the secret space program. And I'm going to throw my morals in the trash and just be a grifter for 1 month out of the year. But then the other 11 months, I'll do it the honest way we've been doing it. But in that 1 month of grifting, I could pay for our whole year's budget. I love it. He's going to attack other people saying they don't have much impact, media impact. What media impact are you having?
But then you have the debunkers, who I refer to as the professional debunkers, the Mick Wests of the world and the Stephen Greenstreets of the world. And the reality of it is that these folks have a media impact.
Stephen Greenstreet works for the New York Post, and I believe his numbers blow this guy's to shit. And Mick West does have a very significant impact. So I guess I'd be just a carnival barker, even though, hey, Matt Ford, I have like an 8-year track record of accurate reporting. And in many cases, many people sold the lie, but I told the truth. But that doesn't matter in Matt Ford's world, because he lives in a delusional clown show world where you're only important if you're helping sell the UFO deception. You have no value if you're telling people the truth about all the shady things that happen here.
You look at Stephen Greenstreet at New York Post, which of course is kind of like the National Enquirer on steroids.
Nonsense. The New York Post is, I believe, the oldest newspaper in the United States. It is very well respected, in my opinion. But, I'm not a media critic, so other people may disagree. I always love it when a guy like this is going to trash somebody for working for a very prestigious, well-known news organization. And by the way, knocking it out of the ballpark in peeling back the layers of deception. There's only one person in the mainstream media that is, in my opinion, well, there may be a few, but Greenstreet is the major mainstream media reporter that's actually reporting on UFOs and aliens and all the shenanigans and all the scammers and all the liars accurately. Everybody else is just doing the copy and paste thing. But he's going to trash that guy because he doesn't like that guy peels back the layers of deception and shows that Matt Ford's delusional fantasy land is a joke.
But he's got a ton of followers. Mick West, the same thing. I mean, there's really kind of no other professional debunker out there like Mick West. So when I came into this whole...
I love the term professional debunker too. These guys love to point out, oh, these guys are making money debunking. So they're allowed to make money selling lies, but people who are telling you the truth by showing you what these things really are, they're evil somehow because they're making money. And by the way, I don't believe that, this is just my personal opinion, I do not believe that Mick West makes a lot of money. He doesn't charge for his guest appearances. He doesn't do paid speaking engagements to the best of my knowledge. And the site that he runs, Metabunk, probably costs him more than it generates. And therefore, this argument that Mick West is a professional debunker is kind of a joke. Mick West is a retired millionaire game designer. You ever play Tony Hawk, the skate game back in the day? That was Mick West. He made that game, and he retired rich. And I guess he needs something to keep his mind occupied, and he enjoys solving puzzles. So that's why he does the debunking thing.
UAP thing, and I've admittedly very new to the whole thing.
Yeah, Matt Ford's only been here for like a year. He has no knowledge of any of the history of this stuff.
I was reading all of this stuff and noticed that like no one was, for the most part, calling him out. Nobody was like, standing up to them.
That's nonsense. Mick West has more detractors than anybody in the UFO space, if you ask me. There's that MV, whatever, the guy with the German name that writes for the Hill. He slams Mick West in tweets every single day. So again, this is disinformation and misinformation. He's going to try to paint himself as like, well, nobody else stands up to Mick West, so I'm going to stand up to him and take him on. And he spectacularly failed when he tried to do that with his fake Wikigate story brought to him by a guy who likes to watch 8-year-old girls dance on YouTube and titles his playlists of that Sexy Dance Time, right?
And I just finally said to myself, you know what? These guys, it's one thing to be skeptical. I mean, we should all be skeptical to a great extent, not believe everything that someone says to you.
When is he going to start being skeptical? He's never been skeptical at all. He literally lets guests lie through their teeth on his show. And he doesn't stop them, challenge them, ask any hard questions.
But these guys, they are not honest brokers.
This is another fallacy. These guys are not honest brokers. Show me a time that you caught Mick West provably lying to the public. Show me a time that you've caught Green Street provably lying to the public, or me for that matter, provably lying to the public. Meanwhile, this guy and his whole thing is to push lies on people and have his guests lie, tell fake stories, leave out information. But he's saying other people aren't honest brokers. Are you kidding me, Matt Ford? You're the most dishonest guy I've ever seen as a show host. Well, you know, there's probably like 5 of the top. You're in the top 5.
They're not truthful.
They're not truthful. Show me where they've lied to people. But meanwhile, he's going to promote Lue Elizondo, which we can prove lied to people over and over and over again. The guy lied to investors for UFO dollars. But he's going to say that, oh, those debunkers, they're not being honest. They're not here for the truth. It's so
and
stupid.
The issue is that they put out all of this content that is just a bunch of BS. But if you're new to the UFO topic, new to the UAP topic, and you come across these guys, you may think, well, you know what? Maybe they're right.
Yeah, maybe they are right. And Green Street, since making his turn, I'll admit something and put it on the record. I did not like I did not like Stephen Greenstreet at all when he first started his show, The Basement Office. Well, no, that's not entirely accurate. How do I accurately communicate this? I was very, like, I guess, just disappointed when I first saw some of the first few Basement Office episodes, because he went at it originally like, yeah, there's something to this, you know, and I thought that he had cognitive bias. I thought he was being too kind and gentle to people that I knew were lying to him. But then, of course, he made his turn and really, I think, knocked it out of the ballpark as far as bringing exclusive stories, peeling back the layers of deception. So, you know, I changed my opinion. And by the way, I was like that when I first started. You should hear some of my first interviews. I was just eating it up when people were telling me these things. Eventually, you start waking up, though, and realizing, yeah, there's something not right about all this, you know?
This Mick West guy, he's got a British accent. He's very cordial. He's very calm. So he must.
Yeah, Mick West is the nicest guy that you ever want to speak to. He is kind and gentle, even to people that he knows are lying and scamming people. And by the way, he's so nice, in fact, that he'll go on grifter shows, but he won't come on my show because he feels I'm too nasty and aggressive towards the scammers. So to attack him because he's nice, is that what you're doing? You're attacking Mick West because he's too nice to people, including believers. He is a nice guy. Guy's nice to everybody. And just great.
Must know what he's talking about. He's a calm, cool, collected player, and you know, he doesn't sound like Travis Taylor. He doesn't have a hick accent. He's this guy from the UK. He's got to know what he's doing, right? So this is why I
listen. Mick West is trusted, Matt Ford, because he gets the stories right. Not because it's like grasping for straws. Like, well, people only listen to him because he's got a British accent. No, people listen to him because he gets the story right when so many people get it wrong.
On occasion, will call these folks out. And
on occasion, he attacks people, including me. I don't know what happened. Matt Ford once blocked me, but then he unblocked me so that he could tell me that I'm crazy. There's a whole thread of Matt Ford telling me that I'm obsessed with Lue Elizondo or whatever and attacking me. It's just kind of ridiculous. But he's aggravated by Mick West getting the story right when him and his UFO true believing circle jerk friends always get the stories wrong, right? Oh, balloons, it must be aliens.
For me personally, I think the thing that most aggravates me and really most upsets me about all of this.
He's upset. He's really upset because people are telling the truth while he's lying to people.
Is how they continually go after Lue Elizondo and David Grush.
Yeah, and what he's calling going after is called fact-checking, researching, and investigating their claims. How dare anybody fact-check their claims, research their claims, and investigate their claims?
What I mean by that is their sole purpose is to try and discredit them.
They deserve to be discredited. Lue Elizondo lied to everybody for years. It's okay to say that. It's okay to tell people what he's calling attacks is something like me or Green Street or Mick West or other people saying things like Lue Elizondo never ran a Pentagon UFO program. He's saying that is an attack to discredit him. Not if it's true, bro. What if it's true? And when it comes to Dave Grush, they get upset. People get so pissed. I got to start posting it again because, to be very honest, it became something of a guilty pleasure of mine that I would post this graphic of Dave Grush and say how many days it's been since he's shown any evidence of his claims. By the way, we're up to 435 days now. That's not an attack. It's a factual statement. Dave Grush has not shown any evidence of his space monster claims. Remember, that's another thing that drives me nuts. These guys think, oh, they're attacking Dave Grush. No, listen, Dave Grush said that space monsters are killing Earthlings. He said that space monsters from another dimension are killing Earthlings. I'm allowed to laugh at that and point that out and make fun of it. It's not an attack. It's not me trying to discredit him. But some people deserve to be discredited because they're wackadoos. Dave Grush is a former mental patient wackadoo who said space monsters from another dimension are here and killing Earthlings. And Lue Elizondo is a delusional clown who claims he ran a Pentagon UFO program that never existed, right? Not while he claimed to run it. And his official job responsibilities had nothing to do with UFOs. So if telling people, according to Matt Ford, if you tell people the truth about Lue Elizondo or Dave Grush, you're discrediting them. Well, if the truth discredits you, then you deserve to be discredited, Mr. Ford. But Mr. Ford is stuck in his delusional fantasy world where these guys are telling the absolute truth about the space monsters killing humans, about the Pentagon UFO program that Lue Elizondo never ran. And if you dare question the narrative here, you're attacking them.
And I mean, let's face it, you've also seen this with Arrow and Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, these guys all of them hate Kirkpatrick because he didn't find evidence of aliens. But does anybody remember when they first announced that Sean Kirkpatrick would be heading Arrow? These guys were doing cartwheels because Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick once wrote a paper on the possibility of extraterrestrial life that was seen to be very pro-alien. So they thought, oh, he's one of us. And then when he does his investigation and finds that most of the people making these claims are wackadoos with no evidence, and many of them are full of crap and there's no evidence. These people are all making these claims, making the government waste time and resources, investigate their claims. They have no evidence of their claims. which is another part we'll get into here. People like Matt Ford want the government to waste money to look for aliens, which is exactly like people who believe in unicorns demanding that the government go find the unicorns. You know, it is absolutely ridiculous.
But when you back up and you zoom out and you look at these guys, McWest and Greenstreet, and to a certain extent, John Greenwald, their whole purpose is to stir the pot.
It's stirring the pot if you investigate any of their claims. And like a good cult, you should just listen to what they say, believe it as absolute gospel truth, and don't question it.
Whole purpose is to discredit the people that are really working hard and trying to make a difference. Their purpose is to discredit Lue Elizondo.
What difference did Lue Elizondo or Grush make? What did they contribute except filling their pockets with money? You know, Dave Grush, hundreds of thousands of dollars has been made from the Dave Grush evidence-free stories. Lue Elizondo made hundreds of thousands of dollars telling people fake stories. And many of those stories we know are fake now. Remember the whole Adam Project? Yeah, that was a piece of a missile casing. It wasn't alien technology, it wasn't metamaterials, it was a nothing burger. I love how he's going to say that these people are here, these people are telling us the truth. Because Dave Grush and Lue Elizondo are telling us the truth by lying to us. I don't understand the logic. Like, these people are giving us the truth by lying to you. We can prove they lied multiple times, both of them.
To discredit David Grush, because if you think about it, those guys, David Grush, Lue Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, and others, they've been in this field for a long time. They hold their security clearances or held their security clearances. They've worked the UAP UFO topic as part of their portfolio.
No, that's an inaccurate statement. Lue Elizondo never had any assigned responsibilities around UFOs. None. Dave Grush may have because he worked for the UAPTF, but a lot of people believe, and this is rumors and speculation, that what Dave Grush was doing was collecting material for people like Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp to distribute. And that's what got him in trouble, right? That may be what got him in trouble.
So the counter narrative from these antibodies, these debunkers, they're not there to get to the truth. They are there to lie to your face.
They are there to lie to your face. He says this as he's lying to your face, telling you that Lue Elizondo had UFOs and UAPs as part of his portfolio. No, he didn't. I love it. The debunkers, they're lying to your face. Show me a time where you can prove that Mick West, John Greenwald, Stephen Greenstreet, or me for that matter, provably lied to the public. You can't. But we can show a number of examples where Lue Elizondo lied to the public for profit. We can show a number of examples where Dave Grush lied to the public. Remember, oh, no, I don't have any mental problems. Never. No. I love that he is saying that the debunkers are the ones lying to you, as he is promoting people who provably lie to people for money. Provably lie to people for money.
They are there to discredit these people.
Exactly. If these people deserve it, does a fake Pentagon UFO program director get discredited? Did a fake Pentagon UFO program get discredited by Stephen Greenstreet? Yes. Does he deserve to be discredited? Yes, because he lied to the New York Times. He lied to TTSA investors. And by the way, Matt Ford, that's the kind of scumbag you're promoting. Somebody that's willing to straight lie through their teeth to investors to get money and book deals and television show deals.
They are there to just lay down the thinnest veil of doubt.
No, I don't think it's the thinnest veil of doubt. There's overwhelming doubt that some of these stories have generated. about your scumbag heroes who provably lie to people for money, Matt Ford.
So when you hear David Grush speak, or you hear Lue Elizondo speak, or you read Elizondo's book, you think, you know what, that Mick West guy, he sure was, he sure seemed to not put much stock in what he said. Maybe this Mick West guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, maybe this Mick West guy does know what he's talking about, and you're just promoting liars for money. And
as opposed to sitting on the sidelines and not calling these people out publicly, if you do that, they just keep doing the same stuff. And am I there to change their minds? Am I going to change Mick West's mind? Am I going to change John Greenwald's mind? Am I going to change Basement Boy's mind? No, that's not the purpose, and that's not the reason I do that. Their mind can't be changed.
No, he does this because he's upset that the deception and the layers of deception used to build his delusional fake fantasy world are getting ripped apart by people that are applying real investigative skills, real facts and logic to the arguments being made. The false narrative is coming crashing down, and he doesn't like that.
Because their job is to put out a narrative, and it's either...
I think that Green Street has been incredibly fair, and I think that Mick West is fair. Maybe it's just me. I don't get it.
Because somebody's paying them to do it?
Oh, yeah. They're paid disinformation agents. Isn't it funny how if you go against the UFO narrative, you're a paid disinformation agent? But if you're like this clown and you host proven liars and grifters and promote proven liars and grifters, and you promote fake stories, you're not a disinformation agent. All you have is fake stories, bro. All you have is evidence-free, trust me, bro, garbage from people who are about as credible as a crackhead holding up a gas can begging you for gas money. But the people telling you the truth, who have a proven track record of telling you the truth, those are the disinformation agents. Sure.
Or I mean, God knows why. So as opposed to just letting it go.
I love how these people want the truth, unless they want the truth, right? But if it contradicts their, delusional fantasy world they live in, then it's disinformation, right? Their beliefs, Art Levine, the journalist, really hammered this point home in one of his articles, and that is that Mr. Ford and all the promoters of this nonsense, their beliefs are not falsifiable. Even when shown overwhelming evidence that Lue Elizondo lied to everyone, he had no assigned responsibilities around UFOs for the government. There was no program. He just appointed himself the director of a program that didn't exist. Even when shown overwhelming evidence of that, they make excuses and do mental gymnastics. His beliefs are not falsifiable. And that's a problem. If nothing can convince you that your beliefs are false, you're in a cult, Matt Ford. You are in a cult.
I'm not trying to change their minds. What I'm doing is I'm calling them out publicly on their bullshit.
As he's promoting BS on his show every single day. Right? Every show this guy has to lie to people, and he's calling out other people because they're lying. Show me where Mick West lied. Show me where Green Street lied, or John from the Black Vault, or me for that matter. They can't. It is just so childish and stupid how these delusional cultists operate.
Mick West posts insanely illogical stuff. That's what I'm doing, and that's why I'm doing it. So, so speaking of Lue Elizondo, so as mentioned,
you're supposed to be promoting Lue Elizondo's new book, and here's something great. This is what he's so upset about. He's upset because Mick West posted a page or two or four out of Lue Elizondo's book, and he writes, UFO disclosure advocate Luis Elizondo describes how the Pentagon trained him to use ESP to remote view adversaries and how he once, while having lunch, psychically appeared as an angel shaking the bed of a terrorist. Also, aliens are piloting UFOs. This is what's got him so upset. Because Matt Ford knows that to an outsider looking in, somebody telling this big of a tall tale with absolutely no evidence. By the way, people are going to start asking the Pentagon if they trained Lue Elizondo as a remote viewer. What do you think that fact check's going to come back as, Matt Ford? Oh, no, it was a secret program, so they can't tell you the truth. It was a covert, unacknowledged special access project that trained them and gave them the superpowers. So stupid, but this is what's got him so upset. And listen, they know that this is ridiculous, and it's going to show people that Lue Elizondo is a lying wackadoo who tells wacky stories with no evidence or proof. That's why he's upset. And come on, it's out of the guy's own book. He said these things, and he's saying Mick West posting this is insanely.
Mick was just insanely posting all of this crazy crap.
Yes, he did post all this crazy crap. But unfortunately for Matt Ford, all the crazy crap came right out of Lue Elizondo's stupid book of nonsense, Matt Ford. You gotta love it.
About Lue. Here he says, a UFO disclosure advocate, Lue Elizondo, describes how the Pentagon trained him to use ESP to remote view adversaries, and how he once, while having lunch, psychically, I think he's misspelling it there, psychically appeared as an angel shaking.
No, I don't know if that's spelled wrong. I have to look at it.
The bed of a terrorist. Here's another one.
Yeah, it's insane that he's posting this crazy stuff. He's posting crazy stuff straight out of Lue Elizondo's crazy book of nonsense.
It's hard to understand how Lue Elizondo could be so badly mistaken about one of the classic DoD UAP videos that famously appeared in the New York Times in 2017. One cannot help but wonder about the quality of his book.
Yeah, his book is garbage. He didn't even fact check anything in his book. And he provides no evidence of any of his claims. And Mick West is right. And this is what he's upset about. He's upset because Mick West got it right. Gimbal is hot, not cold. Lue Elizondo got it completely wrong in his own book.
Forwarded by Christopher Mellon. Then we have Stephen Greenstreet. It's going to be everything I wanted and more.
Yeah, as if we're not allowed to make fun of a guy who claims that he has psychic superpowers that he was trained by the government to attack terrorists with. We're not allowed. Stephen Greenstreet, you're not allowed to laugh at this. Stop laughing at our dear leader, Lue Elizondo. Stop laughing about his superpowers. They're real. Trust me, bro.
I think what's interesting about Greenstreet's Twitter thing is he's got a pig as his has a spirit animal, and
yes, and that's because the owner of Skinwalker Ranch said that debunkers were pigs. He's trolling Brandon Fugel, and I think that's hysterical myself.
That's pretty damn appropriate if you ask me. So. So when you look at those things, it is clear that he is Mick and Greenstreet and Greenwald to a lesser extent. I think Greenwald kind of he tries to play it on both sides. You
mean he tries to be fair and impartial?
He says, "Oh, I'm looking for the truth, and I'm just asking questions, but boy, something's weird about Lue, or something's off about Grush. It's I think in my opinion, it's kind of a Greenwald's way to sort of stir the pot.
You're not allowed to stir the pot. Just take these insane stories about people having superpowers and don't question anything. Don't make fun of them.
When you look at the tweets from the obsessive tweeting about this Lue Elizondo thing from Mick West.
Yeah, I think Mick West tweeted 4 or 5 of his favorite excerpts of Lue Elizondo's crazy book of wackadoo stories. That's not obsessive tweeting, 4 or 5 tweets. So we got to exaggerate everything, make Mick West the bad guy.
you see that he is trying to spin a very thinly veiled narrative.
Oh, it's a narrative.
That Lue is not trustworthy. That
Lue is not trustworthy. He lied to the New York Times about running the Pentagon UFO program. He lied about that Italian UFO crash case being real. He lied about recently declassified documents that were from, what was it, the 1960s? He lied to TTSA investors. He heavily implied that they might have UFO material in their possession. He lied to TTSA investors along with his buddies and claimed that if you invest in our company, we're going to build a spaceship with a revolutionary power source that will change the world. He lied to everybody pretending that he had secret insider knowledge about aliens and UFOs and what the government knows about it for 6 years. So, yeah, he isn't trustworthy. He's a lying scumbag, Matt Ford, and so are you for defending him and promoting that instead of just acknowledging that maybe, just maybe, Lue Elizondo is just another in a long line of UFO profiteering scumbags that lie to people for UFO dollars. How dare somebody suggest that a guy who's lied to everybody for 6 years is not trustworthy? This is literally like the most cult-like behavior I've seen to date here. The cope is real with this one.
That something's not right. He's not like right out the gate like defaming the guy, but he's casting just enough sort of a garbage out there.
Yes, the truth is garbage to Matt Ford. If it contradicts his pre-existing beliefs that these guys are disclosure boner heroes, then it's garbage. The truth is garbage to somebody who claims he's here for the truth. It is just bizarro world over there.
To try and poison the well, and that's really
the well is poisoned already. The well is poisoned. The well was poisoned the minute that Lue Elizondo lied about running a program that he never ran. It all comes. Everything from Lue Elizondo starts at that poison well.
What these guys are trying to do. They're trying to poison the well.
They're trying to poison the well? No, Lue Elizondo poisoned the well, bro, by lying to everybody for years.
Seen that time and time again, even with DOD and the debunkers. Before some big major UAP event happens, be it like a congressional hearing or whatever, the debunkers are out there poisoning the well. It is literally this clown car of incompetent fools.
Oh, yeah. The people who got the story right when you got it wrong are clowns and incompetent. Wow. This guy lives in bizarro world, man. He's calling people who got the stories right when he sits there like a dummy, pretending that Lue Elizondo didn't lie to everybody for years. He's claiming that those people are incompetent.
Who use tricky wordage and language to hide their true intent. And again, Mick West and these others, their intent is not to get to the truth. Their intent is to hide it from you, to get you to stop asking questions, to get members of Congress to stop asking questions.
Well, listen, if you people are going to make these claims, we shouldn't have to ask questions. You should just provide the evidence of your claims. Lue Elizondo is boldly proclaiming in his new book that we're not the only intelligent life in the universe, as if it's a fact. Where's the evidence to support that claim, Matt Ford? Why should the government waste any more money on your delusional fantasies that are evidence-free fantasies? I, for one, I'm a taxpayer. I don't want the government to waste another dollar on this nonsense and you bunch of grifters that are trying to force the government to investigate. They did. And there's nobody had any evidence to give them or share with them, right? But here's how this stupid thing works. It's like these clowns swear that there's aliens behind some hangar bay door somewhere, and they want to force the government to open that door, right? And then maybe there's nothing there, but then they won't believe there's nothing there. Then it's a cover-up. It's literally a self-licking ice cream cone. That is a great analogy for all of this.
They are not honest brokers, period, the end. You cannot trust anything these guys say because they...
Why can you not trust anything they say when they haven't been caught lying? But he wants us to trust people who have been caught lying. So isn't that a stupid way to go about things? Shouldn't you trust, Matt Ford, the people who have never been caught lying to you more than you trust people that have been provably been caught lying over and over and over again, always with the profit-driven motives to get another book deal, to get another documentary deal, get some more TV show deals? Your side has provably lied to people to get those things, and none of the people that he's trashing here have been caught lying or anything like that, to my knowledge. Shouldn't we trust the people who have a proven track record and history of telling us the truth more than we should trust people that have a proven track record of lying to us? This is why this makes no sense, and this is proof 100% that these people are all in a cult.
They're not coming from a place of honesty.
They're not coming from a place of honesty. They're telling people the truth while you're lying to people about Lue Elizondo running a Pentagon program they never ran. But they're not coming from a place of honesty.
They're not coming from a place of, it's not like Mick West would post, you know what, it sure looks like Lue got something wrong on the go fast thing. It should have been cold as opposed to hot, but let's see what the rest of the book is like. Maybe.
Well, we saw, I think one of those previews was like a 280-page book, one of the leaks. So Mick West questioning the accuracy of the book when he's getting basic facts wrong, that the so-called expert. And remember, Lue Elizondo lies and pretends that he was like the government's expert on UFOs. He got the go fast wrong. He got the gimbal wrong. He got the tic tac wrong, most likely. And he doesn't know that it was hot, not cold, or cold, not hot, when he's supposed to be this big expert. He got everything wrong. Lue Elizondo has been wrong about everything since he came out. He was wrong about those flying saucer parts. He was wrong about the Mussolini crash. He was wrong about the go fast, wrong about the gimbal, probably wrong about the tic tac. That one I think is going to be a mystery forever, though, because there's not enough data to draw conclusions. Yeah, it's just, this is bizarro world. Listen to this guy complain about people who keep getting things right while he's defending a guy who provably lied to everybody how many times and got literally everything that he presented wrong. Oh, go fast was doing 40 miles an hour, Matt Ford. You live in clown world, bro.
Maybe it was just kind of an error or a typo or whatever. No, Mick doesn't do that. He's not looking at the silver lining. What's the
silver lining? Buying a book for $25 that says Lue Elizondo was the czar of torture for the United States government at Guantanamo, and that he was trained by the Pentagon to have remote viewing superpowers, which he used to attack terrorists with. Is that the silver lining that I'm missing here? That must be the silver lining I'm missing.
Manners and his British accent. He's trying to subtly form this narrative about Lue and Dave to make you question if they are legitimate, to make you question.
Yeah, why should you not question if they're legitimate when they've provably lied to everybody multiple times? Or in the case of Dave Grush, shouldn't you legitimately question somebody who says space monsters are murdering Earthlings from another dimension? Space monsters from another dimension are murdering Earthlings on Earth, but he can't show us any evidence of that for 435 days now. Shouldn't you question if a guy like that, who, by the way, is a former mental patient, is legitimate? Shouldn't you question that? Oh, that's right. It's a cult. You're not allowed to question that. You're not allowed to question the legitimacy of people making absolutely out of this world sensational, fantastic claims with zero evidence. You're not allowed to question their legitimacy.
question whether they are truthful in what they are saying. And their whole point in this.
Yeah, you're not allowed to question whether Lue Elizondo or Dave Grush is truthful in what they're saying. Even though Lue Elizondo has provably lied to the public multiple times, and Dave Grush has lied to the public multiple times and not provided any evidence of his claims, you're not allowed to question if they're being honest in their claims, because it's a cult. You can't question the cult.
Yes, their whole point with Mick West vomiting all of these tweets about Lue's book that was not supposed to be released, and Green Street and whatnot. They are there. They do that to poison the well.
They're poisoning the well by telling people the truth about what's in Lue Elizondo's book, which, by the way, it was on a Google Books preview. That was the source of the leak. It wasn't, they're trying to pretend that it was somebody leaked the book, or it was illegitimately leaked or illegally leaked. And I think the guy from Project Unity also got accused of leaking the book and other things, which he denies. Listen, don't people have a right to know that the book is full of nonsense, fake stories before they shell out money for it? I think so. I think it's in the public's benefit to talk about what's in that book before people shell out their hard-earned money. And by the way, I think that preview of the book was a godsend, because it saved probably tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of people for wasting money on a book full of nonsensical stories from somebody that appears to me to be like a pathological liar. Come on, man. This guy was trained by the Pentagon to have remote viewing superpowers that he uses to attack terrorists. Come on, man. Come on, Matt Ford. You can't be this stupid. But then again, I think you are.
And in public relations, the first person that is out the gate to establish the narrative owns the narrative. So when you get out, when you're the first person to get out in front of it, you lay out these talking points, or you put out these things that make you doubt Lue, or question Dave.
You're not allowed to doubt Lue. You're not allowed to question Lue. You're not allowed to doubt Dave Grush or question Dave Grush. You're not allowed to do that because it's a cult. This is so cult-like. You're not allowed to ask questions. You're not allowed to have any doubts. Just buy the book, right? Buy the lie. Oh, it's just this is cringeworthy.
They are doing that purposely because they know that when they poison the well, when they own the narrative right out the gate, it's hard to get it back. Now, I also said as well that that Mick and others, even if they're not using the loaded phrases and
you're poisoning the well by telling people the truth. What he means is you're screwing up Dear Leader's book sales by showing people that he's a wackadoo before they buy the book. They should just buy the book, and then they'll figure out that he's a wackadoo.
And these kind of pejoratives.
And I look at the bottom here. This chapter of his show is titled "The Importance of Countering Misinformation." Show me where Mick West got the story wrong. Show me where Green Street got it wrong, or me for that matter, or John from the Black Vault. Each of the people that I mentioned, and I would put myself in that category, we do fact-based investigative work, and we show people the results. But somehow that's wrong. We're not allowed to do that. And, this is literally, they do not want people to ask any questions. He's saying it. You're not allowed to doubt any of this. You're not allowed to ask questions. You're not allowed to have doubts. You should just shut up and buy the book. It's just clown show world. Welcome to clown show.
To get it to stick in people's heads.
So telling people the truth is misinformation. Or pointing out that it's ridiculous that this guy claimed to be a torture czar and that the Pentagon trained him and got him superpowers that he attacks terrorists with. It's misinformation to tell people that Lue Elizondo actually said those things in his books that he wants you to buy. It's misinformation. It came straight out of his book, dude. It's not misinformation. It's accurate. But we need to counter this misinformation. Oh my God, this guy is lost, man.
People like Mick will use absolutely ridiculous debunks that are just, they're not logical.
I've never seen Mick West do that.
They're not smart.
I would pay good money to have Mick West and him take an IQ test. He's saying Mick West is not smart. Dude, you are like on an intelligence scale, you are down there with a child compared to Mick West, who I believe, maybe it's my bias because I'm also a computer science guy. You don't write whole video games if you're not smart. You don't become a millionaire at a young age and retire early if you're not smart, Matt Ford. So talk about misinformation.
A lot of like circular talk and circular reasoning, a lot of straw men's argument is kind of what he relies on. And this is no better illustrated in comments that he had made about the ODNI directors and what they have said. So what is an ODNI? So it's the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. So Avril Haines is the head of ODNI. ODNI is the oversight body of the CIA. They have multiple sister agencies underneath. It all comes to a head with the director of ODNI. Now, the director of ODNI has top secret SCI clearance. They are able to view any intelligence product they want to, period, the end.
Yeah, I think this is the first time he might have told the truth here.
They're not limited in what they can see. They have the security tickets to view anything. That means they can
well, while they can, sometimes you have to know exactly where to look for certain information, or he won't get it.
They are able to view and read any classified intelligence product, being anything from space-based assets, radar, ground-based assets, human intelligence, signals intelligence, anything.
Well, thanks for the intelligence lesson there. But the problem is that many times in the government, one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. And he will only get information if he wants it, if he knows exactly where to look for it.
ODNI director gets to see every single thing, period, the end.
No, he doesn't get to see every single thing. He only gets to see what he requests to see, and only if he knows where to look for it. So this is a stupid argument.
So let's take let's take a trip down memory lane and see what former ODNI directors have had to say about the UAP phenomenon. So here's a clip from the current ODNI director, Avril Haines.
Okay, so here we go with the carefully crafted propaganda. Remember, this is the Good Propaganda Show.
And the main issues that Congress and others have been concerned about are basically safety of flight concerns and counterintelligence issues. But of course, there's always the question of, is there something else that we simply do not understand that might come extraterrestrial?
Yeah, okay, so there's ODNI Director Haines, who is the current ODNI director. And here's a clip from...
So he's basically saying because she mentioned that that's a possibility, that it's real. You got to twist the facts to fit your narrative, Matt Ford.
Former ODNI director for President Obama, James Clapper.
So next month, a government report is expected to be made public on the sightings of UFOs. As the former director of national intelligence, I think there have been a lot of theories about UFOs. What do you make of these revelations? What might this be? Have you seen any yourself? What do you make of this?
Well, first, I think it is kind of, there is logic to the intelligence community addressing this, since the intelligence community has a lot of practice of dealing with ambiguity and less than complete facts. And secondly, I think it's really important that whenever we witness such phenomenon, that it is recorded and documented for the future. When we may gather more information and have a better understanding of what's transpiring. Could there be life out there? Sure.
See, he said, could there be life out there? That must mean that, and I love it. He's playing a clip in which the news organization that's talking about this is playing a completely, totally debunked fake UFO video on the side there that came from Jeremy Corbell, known UFO profiteering hoaxer scumbag. Well, I don't know about hoaxer, but, you know, Mr. Flares are alien spaceships. Boca, those are alien pyramid spaceships, right? I don't even know what point he's trying to make here. Of course, people involved in the intelligence community for the United States are concerned about unidentified aircraft in our skies. And many have acknowledged, hey, sure, there could be life on other planets.
As huge as the universe is, you really can't reject that possibility.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance that these are aliens, as we're playing debunked videos on the side that are not aliens. Great.
So I think this is a good thing. The transparency, I expect this report will be filled with ambiguity as well. And people, depending on their leanings, will extract what they want out of this report.
How it always goes, right? Where there is ambiguity, people can pull what they want from it. But it does sound like it is, something that we haven't seen before, this type of transparency around this topic.
Yes, and I'm not sure why that is.
I believe that there's more transparency around this topic because people in the government are getting tired of these grifters who are constantly crying alien when we're looking at things like flares or, a camera artifact or bokeh or, rotating footage or, parallax.
The only reason for classification would be if there's some sensitive method that data relating to so-called UFOs was collected. But other than that, I don't know why we haven't been more transparent about it in the past, and I'm part of that crime, I guess. And my former capacities were, I didn't insist on more transparency with respect to this issue.
Yeah, sorry for the little audio cutouts there. I guess that's a little bug in Adobe Premiere. Anyway, so just listen to what this guy says. So let's not stop there. Let's take another step back.
Oh, geez Christ. So now he's just trying to make an argument that the aliens are real and the government knows about it. Okay.
The Trump administration with former ODNI director John Ratcliffe on, I think this one's on Fox News here.
So I think we have long suspected that there was life on other planets. But what is going on with UFOs and the report that's coming out? And don't say you can't tell me because you're going to have to kill me. Just tell me what you can.
Well, I know people always want to start with alien life forms and extraterrestrial life. I don't think the report's going to address that. It's not going to rule anything out or anything in, for that matter. I think what's important and what people can expect about this UAP report is I think it'll talk about the number of sightings. They're far greater than have been publicly disclosed before.
Yeah, and they're talking about the UAP report, which was a big nothing burger. So I don't understand his arguments here. Hey, people in the government are acknowledging that we might have a genuine mystery on our hands. Therefore, it's aliens.
I think there's been some leaking that there may be as many as 100. I'm not going to dispute that number. But what's more important, Trey, is that the number of sightings and recordings that have been picked up by what we call multiple sensors, that is visual, radar, ISR, satellite. And when you have multiple sensors under conditions where we see UAPs, it explains away a lot of the things like visual disturbances or things like that.
Yes, underlined that 150 times. Some UFO reports and sightings are difficult to explain. But again, they're playing Jeremy Corbell's fake pyramid UFOs while they're talking about UFOs. You see the problem here?
And so, I hope the report will address why we can't answer some of these explanations, because here's the bottom line. When it comes to national security, ego can't be involved. If there's something out there that's bigger or faster and stronger, we've really got to answer that question. And so having a discussion about it is going to be a good thing.
Well, Johnny, you were a U.S. attorney before you came to Congress, so you're an evidence-driven guy.
Yeah, what about the evidence?
You've seen all the evidence. I'm not asking you what it is, but are you more skeptical, less skeptical, or the same on UFOs and life on other planets than you were before you were the DNI?
Well, again, I don't look at it from a standpoint of life on other planets. I look from a standpoint of national security. And
yeah, so he's concerned about national security. If there's something flying in our airspace, especially restricted airspace, we need to know about it and what it is, just from a perspective of security. So he's not concerned about aliens.
And here's what troubles me right now, Trey, is you know, a lot of people say, well, maybe it's Russia or China, but some of the things that have been public.
It's provably been China. Remember the Chinese spy balloons?
Publicly talked about, we know for a fact.
And by the way, some of these UFO wackadoos that work for the United States government were so busy looking for aliens that they missed the Chinese spy balloons.
The intelligence community, we have high confidence that things like transmedium properties and hypersonic speed, meaning vehicles that go at 5 times the speed of sound, or Mach 5, Russia and China clearly didn't have those in 2004 when some of these things were cited and recorded.
China just released footage or pictures of a transmedium craft. So maybe they did, and they just weren't acknowledging it up until then.
And so we need to get explanations for them. And, you know, again, if someone is bigger, faster, or stronger out there, we need to know about it. And so we need to have a discussion where our sailors, our airmen, and our soldiers can talk about it and report it so that we have that information so we can figure out what it is to protect America.
All right, well, there you go. So once again, former ODNI director saying that they are viewed across multiple sensor platforms, multiple people. This goes way back.
And none of that proves that it's aliens. And Matt Ford just got done telling you that these ODNI directors or DNI directors have access to everything. And they won't acknowledge that these things are aliens. So what does that tell you? If, according to Matt Ford, they have access to everything, wouldn't they have access to the programs Dave Grush claims exist of alien crash retrievals, right? So you're saying that they're lying, but you still want to cite them as a source because some of the things they mentioned about life on other planets is somehow evidence to you. Welcome to the cult of UFO, Matt Ford.
It's pilots. You know, Mick West will say, "Oh, human memory is flawed."
Human memory is flawed, and there's been studies that have proven that. And people have been convicted of murder based on false eyewitness testimony. So eyewitness testimony and human memory are extremely problematic if that's all you've got is people telling stories.
And again, what they're doing, what Mick West is doing is he is taking something and oversimplifying it and then latching onto that. So he's ignoring the fact that you've got multiple people seeing this, multiple sensor platforms detecting this stuff.
I think even Mick West would acknowledge that multiple people are seeing stuff and multiple sensor platforms have picked some of these things up. The problem is the jump straight. It's got to be aliens. It's definitely aliens.
So anyway, so John Ratcliffe, he was really kind of the first ODNI director to really go out and say, we're seeing these things all the time. It's not China. It's not Russia.
It's provably been China. It's provably been China. Are you just going to ignore the fact that it's provably been China causing some UFO reports with their spy balloons? We all saw that spy balloon, Matt Ford. It's provably China. This argument they love to make, it's not China and it's not Russia, so therefore it's aliens. It's the stupidest, childish argument, especially when, yeah, Matt, it is China sometimes.
It's something else. So how did Mick reply to it? So here's his reply. Ratcliffe was a political appointee to DNI with no real experience. Lawyer, politician, Trump apologist. He served only 8 months. He can't talk to you about potential alien life because he knows nothing confirming it. He's heard some cool stories heard some cool stories though. So
yeah, and this is an entirely accurate statement. He cannot confirm potential alien life because he knows nothing confirming it. There is no evidence confirming alien visitation on Earth. This is what Matt Ford, the cult propaganda minister, is so upset about, that Mick West is spitting facts, right? And here we get that line, they defy the laws of physics. Defy the laws of physics, so it's got to be aliens. Well, we've seen no actual verifiable evidence that these things defy the laws of physics. Show it to me. Show me the sensor tapes. Show me the data. You can't and you won't. This is the problem. And people who are saying these things defy the laws of physics can't show us an example of that, provide evidence of that, and they're not physicists. Go show me a real physicist, and I mean a real physicist, not somebody like Eric Wackadoo Davis or Hal Wackadoo Putoff, that confirms that we have evidence or proof that they defy the laws of physics. And, you know, some of the so-called evidence for this statement that they defy the laws of physics is things like, well, they do 90-degree turns. We don't have any technology that can do that. They're stupid talking points, because anybody can go down to Walmart with $100 and get a drone that does 90-degree turns. You know, it's all built on a house of cards on top of a table full of bullshit. That's what we get here. So Matt Ford, very upset with Mick West. He's melting down because people are spitting facts.
So there you go. That's a prime example of the idiocy of
He's an idiot for pointing out facts.
Mick West and these debunkers. They're simplistic, ignorant thinking.
Yeah, he's calling other people ignorant when he won't even acknowledge that sometimes the so-called UFOs are Chinese, like in the case of the Chinese spy balloons.
But
Mick West is the ignorant one.
It's not even worth the screen that it's printed on. Don't know if it's a good analogy there, but,
analogy.
Here he is. He's pontificating using his magical thinking and absolutely no reason.
Matt Ford is talking about magical thinking. Well, he's magically thinking that Lue Elizondo ran a Pentagon UFO program that he never ran, and defending a scumbag liar profiteer, right? But it's the other people that have the magical thinking. He's defending a guy who says he has superpowers that he attacked terrorists with and shook their bed. But other people have magical thinking somehow.
Reason, basically saying, and I'm a Democrat, I'm not a Trump fan, but he's basically saying, oh yeah, because he worked for Trump, he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, give me a break. Mick West is not that stupid. He knows damn well that ODNI director sees all of the classified intelligence product.
Did he see proof of intelligent life from other planets visiting Earth? Did he see proof of the space monsters that Dave Grush says is murdering humans? Matt Ford? What? Well, no. So Mick West was right, and you're wrong, and you're just butthurt because people are spitting facts that contradict your delusional narrative that you spin on your show, built on lies, liars, and evidence-free trust me bro stories.
They see the satellite footage. They see all of the ISR product. He knows that, but he's lying to you.
He didn't lie, and he did not misrepresent the truth. What he said was a truthful statement. He has no knowledge of intelligent life from other planets visiting Earth. Why are you attacking him for stating facts, Matt Ford? Could it be because you're in a cult?
He is misrepresenting the truth, and that's just how these guys operate.
Yeah, he's saying that people misrepresent the truth, as he's telling people that Lue Elizondo really did run a Pentagon UFO program. He really did. No, he didn't. You want to talk about misrepresenting the truth? You had a guy on your show who watches videos of 8-year-old girls dancing on YouTube and titles it Sexy Dance Time, the playlist, talking about a complete and total misinformation, fake conspiracy theory, and you want to say that other people are misrepresenting the truth? My God, this is clown world. We're in clown world.
You can't trust them.
You can't trust the people that have never been caught lying, but you can trust these friends of mine that keep getting caught lying.
I encourage everyone here that's a fan of the show, when you see Mick West or Stephen Greenstreet just spewing their fountain of garbage, reply to it on Twitter. Call them out and say, you're full of it.
Yeah, so basically, he wants people to bully skeptics and debunkers into just shutting up and letting us live in our delusional fantasy land.
We know what you're up to. We know you are trying to derail this. We know you are lying to us.
Again, he's claiming other people are lying to you while he's promoting people that provably have been caught lying to us, right?
We know you are lying to your followers. We know that we know what you're up to. We've got your number. We know it's an act.
So what he's trying to do as the UFO propaganda minister is just get people to shut up. Just get these people to shut up so we can live in our delusional fantasy land world where it's all real. You're not allowed to question. We saw that earlier. You're not allowed to ask questions. You're not allowed to doubt, because if you ask questions, that's attacking the credibility of these people who are about as credible as crackheads, Matt Ford.
We know it's all a put on. We know it's a debunking con.
Yeah, so he's calling other people con artists. Hey, Matt Ford, what do you call it when you lie to investors and claim that you're going to build a revolutionary spaceship, a spaceship with a revolutionary power source to change the world, and then you and your buddies collect millions of dollars, but you don't make the spaceship. Instead, you let Tom DeLonge spend all that money on a stupid movie about werewolves. What do you call that? And by the way, TTSA has been called a techno scam. And Lue Elizondo was involved in that. And he's calling people telling you the truth con artists. Wow. I mean, just wow. It's all a con. It's a debunking con. Prove those people lied. Matt, you can't, but we can prove that the people you promote lie a lot and allegedly con people out of money based on false resumes, false promises, we might have alien spaceship parts. Invest in our company. Oh, it turned out to be a missile casing. But you're going to sit there with a straight face and call people that have never been caught lying and have proven track records of telling people the truth, you're going to call those people con artists? You're a scumbag, Matt Ford.
These are all basically con artists. So long and short of it. So now, just when you thought we were done talking about debunkers, let's turn to the king of debunkers.
I can't take any more. Now he's going to attack Sean Kirkpatrick, who again doesn't have a history of lying, doesn't have a history of conning people for UFO dollars. And isn't it just, I mean, it's so disingenuous and dishonest to sit here and promote proven people that have lied to people for UFO dollars and attack other people that have never lied to people for UFO dollars as being dishonest or being con artists, right? I'd be careful who you call a con artist, Matt Ford, because I guess you don't know it, but you're in on the con. You're in on the long con. You have been selected or placed there as a propaganda arm of this whole fake movement, this garbage peddled movement of fake disclosure. But hey, I hope you're very successful getting people to chase the carrot for a few more years so that your scumbag friends can earn more money and put more UFO dollars in their pocket before the vast majority of people finally wake up and realize disclosure's never coming. There's no alien biologics, Matt Ford. And unlike what David Grush said, there's no interdimensional space monsters murdering Earthlings. Matt Ford is the propaganda minister of a cult. And I have some notes here about cults to end the show with. So there are some signs of recognizing cults, and cults can vary widely in their beliefs, ranging from religious and spiritual movements to political or self-help groups. However, several red flags are commonly associated with cults. Number one, charismatic leadership. Most cults revolve around a central leader or leaders who are often seen as infallible, divine, or possessing special knowledge. This leader demands absolute loyalty and obedience, with their teachings placed above all else. Two, isolation from society. Cults often encourage or enforce isolation from family, friends, or anyone who disagrees with their cult-like beliefs and the outside world. This can be physical, such as living in a commune, or psychological, through teachings that emphasizes the group's superiority and outside world's corruption. Notice in this piece, Matt Ford is painting everybody that disagrees with his cult as corrupt or a con artist. Number three, us versus them mentality. Cults foster a strong sense of in-group loyalty by painting people outside of the cult or cult belief system as dangerous, corrupt, or evil. This black and white thinking helps to solidify the members' allegiance to the group. Number four, totalistic control. Cults typically control many aspects of the member's life, including personal relationships, finances, who they can speak to or socialize with, and even thoughts. Rules are often strict, with severe consequences and punishment for those who disobey. We have seen various examples of many of these UFO profiteering hucksters essentially telling people who they can speak to, who they can socialize with, and there is certainly people who say, you can't go on this person's show. Only go on this person's show. Don't go on this guy's show or this guy's show or this guy's show, because they are terrified of somebody asking real questions. They're trying to control their narrative in their delusion bubble. Number five, exclusivity and elitism. Cults often promote the idea that they possess exclusive access to the truth or special knowledge that is unavailable to outsiders. We've seen Lue Elizondo do this thing where, oh, I'm gonna share some very secret stuff that's coming up with you to this insider group. This is very dangerous, in my opinion, because it reinforces the inner sanctum members' belief in the group's importance. Number six, love bombing and conditional acceptance. New members are often initially showered with affection, attention, and praise, a tactic known as love bombing. Over time, this unconditional love becomes conditional, based on the members' allegiance and conformity to the group's rules. Number seven, apocalyptic or doomsday predictions. This applies a little more to David Wilcock than some of the people we're talking about tonight. But many cults claim that the end of the world is near and that only the group has knowledge or ability to survive or transcend it. This creates a sense of urgency and fear, driving members deeper into the group's control. Now, along with the signs of a cult, I also have some notes on the tactics of mind control and mind manipulation. Because after all, cults, including this UFO cult, and let's be clear, that's what it is. We've seen multiple signs of it. This guy, who is their propaganda minister, is literally saying you're not allowed to doubt or question dear leaders of our movement here. Cults often use a range of psychological tactics to maintain control over their members. And these methods are designed to weaken an individual's autonomy, critical thinking, and sense of self, instead encouraging members to worry more about the group or group mission than their own individual needs or wants. Now, let's get into mind control or brainwashing, because cults often employ techniques that resemble brainwashing, systematically breaking down an individual's sense of identity and replacing it with the group's ideology. How many times have we heard some of these disclosure bros like, oh, we've all got to get together and do this together for the betterment of mankind and all of this nonsense? This can include repetitive messaging, rewards for people who complete tasks for the group, and even rituals. And then there's thought reform. Cults use sophisticated methods of indoctrination, often through intensive study, meditation, or confession sessions. These practices reinforce the group's belief, and they suppress dissenting thoughts from people questioning them. Then there's fear and guilt. Fear is a powerful tool for control. Cults may instill fear of punishment, damnation, or someone being ostracized for questioning or leaving the group. Guilt is also leveraged to keep members in line, convincing them that their doubts or desires to leave are morally wrong. Then there is exploitation of some of the members' personal weaknesses. Cult leaders often exploit personal vulnerabilities, such as loneliness, insecurity, or past trauma, to draw individuals deeper into the group. They present themselves as the solution to these problems, which fosters dependency on the cult leader and the cult itself. Then there's peer pressure and social proof. The cult environment is typically one where conformity is highly valued. And we have seen this time and time again. You're not allowed to question anything. You're not allowed to ask these UFO celebrity cult leaders hard questions, or you're labeled as evil somehow. There is a pressure to fit in, and constant reinforcement from other members create a powerful force that can override an individual's doubts or misgivings about the group and the group's mission. And then, of course, there are some dangers to cult-like thinking and group dynamics. Even outside of formal cults, the tactics and dynamics described that I have described can manifest in any tightly knit group. The dangers of cult-like thinking are significant and extend beyond the confines of recognized cult. There can be a loss of individual autonomy. Groupthink, and we see this in the UFO community, is a phenomenon where dissenting opinions are suppressed in favor of consensus. What we just saw is Matt Ford, very cult-like, trying to, squell and stomp all over any dissenting opinions. And this certainly can erode an individual's ability to think critically and make independent decisions. And this can lead to harmful behaviors and beliefs being accepted without question or critical thinking. And speaking of critical thinking, these groups want an erosion of critical thinking. Cult-like groups often discourage questioning and critical analysis. We've just seen Matt Ford trying to discourage questioning or doubting the narratives being put forth by people like Dave Grush and Lue Elizondo. And he's discouraging critical analysis. You're not allowed to critically analyze the group or the leaders or the narratives being pushed. And over time, this can and sometimes does lead to a dangerous erosion of intellectual freedom, where members become incapable of evaluating information or making rational decisions on their own, especially outside of the group's guidance. Then there is an escalation of commitment. Once deeply involved, individuals may find it increasingly difficult to leave the group, even if they recognize its harmful aspects. This is often due to sunk cost fallacy, where the time, money, and emotional investment in the group make leaving seem impossible. So to the UFO cult members, it's like, hey, man, you've been buying these books and documentaries and going to UFO conventions for 10 years. You don't want to admit this is all bullshit, so buy that next book. Stay in this thing. And I know personally many people who are unable to leave because of this concept of, I've already put so much time and energy into this. I've experienced this myself. That's why I'm still here. I put so much time and energy into this. What do I just quit? I decided to just start being very critical and cover this stuff much more critically and stay here. Then, of course, there's social isolation and alienation. Even if a group does not explicitly demand isolation from dissenting voices, the intense loyalty to the group can lead to estrangement from family, friends, and the broader society. This can result in severe psychological and emotional harm. And on the subject of intense loyalty, we have seen people literally commit criminal acts to defend Lue Elizondo. People have doxxed, threatened, intimidated, harassed people's family who are critical of Lue Elizondo. So these cult-like behaviors, you know, it's very evident in some of these groups. Then, of course, moral and ethical compromise. Cult-like dynamics can lead individuals to act in ways that violate their usual moral or ethical principles. Do we really believe that the people who were threatening, doxing, intimidating, harassing, or threatening people's family for Lue Elizondo before they were involved in this group just thought that was okay and did that? No. They're doing it because they did those things because, number one, they thought they were going to get points with Lue Elizondo or rewards. And in some cases, he did reward them. Like, oh, I'll go on your show. Thanks. In my opinion, I think he rewarded people who doxed me, threatened my family, even threatened my children by going, I'll go on your show. Great job. Great job. Threatening Steve Cambion, his wife, and his children. Great job. Directly after that happened to me, Lue Elizondo went on the show who was doing that to me. So there's a pressure to conform, a fear of punishment, and a desire for acceptance that can drive people to commit acts they would otherwise not commit. And I think that's very evident just in the example that I have shown you. So cults and cult-like groups thrive on manipulation, on control, and on the exploitation of human vulnerabilities. By understanding the signs of a cult and the tactics they use and the dangers of group dynamics that suppress individuality and critical thinking, people can better protect themselves and others from falling into these dangerous traps. Cults do not just pose a threat to individual members. They represent a broader danger to society by undermining personal freedom, promoting harmful ideologies, and eroding the foundations of rational thought. And I think it's very, it's disturbing that we just watch a clip of the literal UFO propaganda minister telling people you're not allowed to question or doubt the leaders. And we see in this article on cults and cult tactics that that's exactly what a cult does. You're not allowed to question the leader. You're not allowed to be a dissenting voice. You're not allowed to have doubts. The leaders are infallible and anything they say goes. And don't you dare question it or you'll be punished. And this is literally what Matt Ford is saying in this clip, that he's so upset that people are critically examining the claims being made. And it's just so stupid and so childish. If you just, you know, take a step back, in fact, take 100 steps back and look at this thing from a broader perspective. And what we see is people like Matt Ford defending and promoting proven liars, saying you're not allowed to question those proven liars. You're not allowed to doubt those proven liars. And if you do that, you're a con artist. I mean, this is literally cult tactics 101. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to take that banner off and we will catch up. I'm going to check in with our PayPal pledgers. For those unaware, we're a viewer-supported show. You can hit that money button. If you're watching a playback, not watching us live, you can hit the thanks button. Yeah, so I want to thank Initials JW for a kind and generous $50, and the only note says donation. So thank you, JW, for a kind and generous $50 PayPal pledge. And then we have initials RE. And he says, with a kind and generous $20 PayPal pledge, says, an anonymous donation for the records request. Shit is expensive, but worth it. And thank you, RE, for your kindness, generosity, and support. Next time, give me your chat room user ID so I can thank you properly. And also, as well, thanks to JW. And finally, for PayPal pledges, we have initials AM, we have Village Floral House with a kind and generous $10 PayPal pledge. So we want to take a moment to thank you, kind and generous benefactors, for your kindness, generosity, and support. We want to thank you for appreciating us. We certainly appreciate you, especially when you're helping us to
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Yes, friends. So we're a little over time. By the way, I'm gonna try to start keeping these shows to 2 hours. Many people have commented these 3 or 4 hour streamathons. It's just too much. So if I have to, I'm going to start breaking things up into. It's Autumn McGrath Shook was one of those kind and generous benefactors. So thank you, Autumn McGrath Shook. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. We'll do a quick praise to cash to thank you, Patreon supporters, you YouTube channel members, Twitch subscribers, PayPal pledgers, and you people buying me a coffee.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right. And we also want to thank the MVP of buying me a coffee. For those unaware, Mike Larry, who is the person who used to buy all those YouTube channel memberships. He bought hundreds of them. So if you got a free YouTube channel membership, thank Mike Larry. I'm not sure when the last one I called out. We have Village Floral House, who bought a coffee and says, love the show. Don't worry about Dilcock. He has no case and is such a liar. And we want to thank someone who is also known as Mike Larry, who bought 15 coffees and then bought 22 coffees. So like I said, Mike Larry is the MVP of buying me a coffee. Thank you, Mike Larry. And thank you, Village Floral House, for buying me a coffee. Instructions for how you could do that are in the description of the video. Make sure you add a note and tell me your chat room user ID. And thanks to all of you for helping us to praise the cash. All right. I'm sort of hesitant to discuss this, but I have what can only be described as a sort of medical, just nothing serious, but I have to get some medical attention, and I'm not sure about tomorrow night's broadcast, and I will be going to the cabin starting on Thursday night, but we're very light for shows this week. I'd like to do 2 more. I have a show prepared about this Dave Grush lawsuit. And then, for those unaware, we had some very strange happenings here. You might want to catch up if you haven't. But David Wilcock of Ancient Aliens fame accused me of filing false animal neglect reports against him and getting him swatted. It turns out he was not swatted. We got the body cam footage that proves he was not swatted. An animal control officer knocked on his door. He wasn't home, so she taped a card to his front door. That's what Wilcock is calling swatting. And if you missed that whole saga, David Wilcock also publicly called me a Satan worshiper and a child predator on his public live stream, while also claiming that he's going to sue me for slander. All we have done is investigate and report on David Wilcock's claims, and I will not be intimidated into silence. That's what he wants. He wants to shut me up because we're affecting the grift, and a lot more people are waking up, especially when we go through his history of these claims that he makes, like the mass arrests in 2012, 2016, 2018, 2021, 2022. He's making the same mass arrest prediction claims again. But in any case, tomorrow if I'm able. I still have to check in with Mr. Widener, but I believe Mr. Widener will be here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as long as I'm able to as well. Is this David Wilcock's worst nightmare? David Wilcock's false claims exposed. So who better to talk about essentially what a liar David Wilcock is than his former producer from his Gaia streaming days, Jay Widener, who has been very critical of Mr. Wilcock and his false claims. And you may know that Mr. Widener was one of the people who was frivolously sued by Corey Goode, but won his case, getting it dismissed. And I thought it would be good to hear from him about these frivolous lawsuits against their critics, because essentially Corey Goode sued Jay Widener for being critical of him. And Mr. Wilcock is threatening to sue me. By the way, he also said that he was getting me arrested and that the police were doing an investigation about me and cooperating with Philadelphia police, and I was going to get arrested. All of that was fake, just like his teeth, just like his false claims, just like his ability to make a woman have an orgasm. All of that was fake. I thought it would be great to talk to Mr. Widener about this situation and about the impact that a frivolous lawsuit against a critic can have. And now I know Widener is very controversial, but I can't not have a guest here because they're controversial. Some people believe, maybe rightly so, that Mr. Widener is largely responsible for the monster that became Corey Goode. But I believe he's made amends for that. After all, he's spent 5 years fighting a lawsuit against Corey Goode. He's spoken publicly claiming that Corey Goode is a complete and total liar and just made up all the stories on Cosmic Disclosure for money. So we're going to try to have him. I have to check in with him tomorrow. So this may get punted a few days or maybe till next week. I don't know. I have to check in with him. And also, I mentioned I have some kind of medical situation. I'm not going to take the glasses off. For those unaware, some years ago, I suffered a life-threatening brain aneurysm, which I survived. They were able to repair most of the damage. However, I walked away from that life-threatening experience where I was in the hospital for months and everything, and multiple brain surgeries. I walked away breathing, which I'm always thankful for, because so many of the greatest things in my life came after that event. You know, when you have an event where like your life is in danger, you sort of realize your mortality, and you go, holy shit, all these things I wanted to do, I better start getting them off the list. And so after that event, I got married. I had 2 wonderful children. All the greatest things in my life, to me, came after that event. Maybe, my wife and I were together for 13 years, and shortly after that event, we finally got married. But in any case, I walked away from that with something called third nerve palsy. For those unaware, that's the reason I wear the glasses. I have a paralyzed eye. And when you have a paralyzed eye, you are very susceptible to eye problems. And I have the mother of all styes right now. And it may require one of those eye doctor, lancet, or minor surgery. It's very, very painful, and it's very, very distracting. These things usually pass. I've had them in the past, and they go away in, a week or 2. This one's been, I think, 12 days now. And when it started, I could just feel it under the skin. It feels like a little pimple right under your eyelid, right under your eyeball on the lower eyelid. But it's getting worse and worse. It's a big red bulge on the bottom of my eye right now. It's very painful and distracting. So I may attempt to go to get some medical advice and figure out what to do to deal with it, because I really can't take another week of this. And that's also why, to be honest with you, I was not broadcasting last night, because I just was so distracted by this. And I thought, well, what if I do all the right things today? So I'm doing the eye drops that I have that are supposed to take care of it. I'm doing hot compresses. They're supposed to take care of it. Tonight, I'm trying saline solution and patching the eye while I sleep That's supposed to, you got to get that fluid to drain out of that. It's basically an eye infection. And it's also affecting my vision. And I'm already visually impaired, having the eye paralyzed. So it makes running the show very, very difficult. I'm glad I was able to get through this evening. So, the rest of the week is a little bit up in the air. I'm glad I was going to bail on tonight too, because I don't know if you've ever had a sty, but it is very weird. It's just weird, like you can't see straight. And well, I normally can't see straight, but it's even more it impacted my vision even worse. And it's just very, very distracting. As long as the only thing that seems to help is keeping a hot compress over the eye. That sort of dulls the jab of the pain of it. Yes, Garaji says, what did Wilcock give you? Yeah. So I'm hoping that this can go away with some kind of treatment that doesn't involve a scalpel right next to my eyeball. So anyway, I just want to put that out there. I'm always honest with my audience, and I would show it to you, but it's gross. And it looks much worse than it is, actually. It just looks like a big red pussy ball on the corner of my eye over here. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get rid of it. So I'll take some comments and questions from the live chat. I'm wondering who Nick Sylvester is. He and Simon were trending last night on BitChute. I don't know who Nick Sylvester is. It sounds very familiar, though. Yeah. Aliens are sus says, I've had those before. Itchy and painful. Hope it never comes back. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, if you have a paralyzed eye, you get styes much more frequently than normal people. And I don't exactly remember or know why that is. I think it's because the eye is paralyzed and it's not moving as much. So, things can get irritated or infections can last longer or build up. Often this worry phase is before the healing and relief. Hang in there, bro. You're not dead yet. No, like I said, I walked away from that experience still breathing. Venus Miranda is here. Styes can get infected, but you were doing the right thing right now. But you need antibiotic eye drops. Do that. That's what I'm using. And they haven't done anything for like 5 days now, or 6 days I've been taking the drops. And it may be that I don't know. I found drops from the last time this happened in my medicine cabinet, and I was so thankful. And for a while, it at least was seeming like the pain was going away when I was using these eye drops. But the last couple of days, just this honking pimple in my eyeball is getting bigger and bigger, and it's not really helping. I may need oral antibiotics, which I also found some, and I'm taking those. So I'm doing all the right things to try to deal with it. I'm not one of those people. My father was one of those men that just ignores a medical problem for like until you end up in a hospital. Like he was I'm not one of those people. I generally try to take care of those things, and I'm doing everything I can. Hot compresses, oral antibiotics, eye drop antibiotics. It's just not going away, and it is gross. Rub a gold ring on it. I'm willing to try anything, AZ. I will try that. I've got tonight, on the advice of a doctor on YouTube, not that you should ever take medical advice from a doctor on YouTube, but he is a doctor, an eye doctor. I'm told that if you put some cotton balls in a saline solution and put that right on your eye and then patch the eye and cover it and sleep like that, somehow the saline gets in there and gets it to release the fluid or whatever. The worst thing you could do, however, is pop it. And I want to just take a needle to this thing and get rid of it. But I know that's a bad idea because it can lead to further infections. And anyway, if you're having a medical problem like I am, go to a medical professional. My wife is already on me. Like, what are you, dumb? You need to see a doctor. Oh, and that's the other issue. My doctor died. So, and I loved, that was my favorite doctor I've ever had in my entire life. His name was Dr. Brad Paddock. Anyway, he just suddenly died. And I miss the guy, especially when I have a problem like this, because I would have went to him and he would have taken care of it and I'd be feeling better in a day. But he passed away, so I have to find a new doctor, and that's awkward, just go to a brand new doctor with a weird problem like this. Keep up the good work, Mr. Cambion, in exposing cults of personality and grifters in the UFO community. You provide a great service with your platform of critical thinking and common sense. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Oplothatic, that's probably what I'm on, Garaji. People are mentioning, and thank you, George Sanqui, for your kindness and positive encouragement. So I'll take some comments and questions from the live chat before we bounce on out of here. Village Floral House says, we are all Stephen from Canada. For those unaware, David Wilcock first said Stephen from Canada was doing all these terrible things. Then he turned it into somebody else that he claimed was Stephen from Canada. Then somebody else, then somebody else. Now he's claiming Stephen from Canada is me. So people are saying, I am Stephen from Canada, right? Arlene Atkins says, ew, he said pussball. I think that is a good name for David Wilcock. Yes. Yeah, Archaic Revival. See a doctor, I bet they can do something on the spot. Yeah, yes, Archaic Revival. Just explain that you want the best doctor they have and that you will allow as many doctors in the room to help as they like. I'm hoping it doesn't come to the Lansing. I've never had to have that happen, but I stupidly Googled that and watched a video of that taking place. And there's something about having a scalpel that close to my eye, even though it's essentially a half worthless eye, it's paralyzed to a great extent. I still, scalpels near my eyeballs make me a little bit nervous. Self-licking ice cream cone is here and also says I am Stephen from Canada. They typically take 7 to 10 days to fully heal a sty. Applying a warm compress is the most effective way to hurry up the healing process. I'm doing it like 6 times a day, Mama's dope boy. But my wife just found a better hot compress that you put in the microwave. So painful. It could be allergies. I get one every August too. Try some Benadryl, maybe. Yeah, we could try that. We are Stephen, Canada. We are Stephen of the Smoke Detector Alliance. Yes. Maybe do a pimple popper video. Oh, it is gross. It is gross, troll. They can trap you down so you don't flinch. They put your head in a thing so you don't move. Yeah. Well, listen, we've talked enough about my weird pus ball in my eye. I'm pretty sure that I'll be back tomorrow night. I'm going to do a lot of things today that hopefully will make that situation better. And I'm hoping that I don't need to go to a doctor or urgent care or something, or eye doctor tomorrow night. I want to be here. No place I would rather be. So we've done our due diligence. We've covered the UFO cult propaganda minister. We've shown you that he's using exact cult tactics in his arguments, which is bizarre to observe, but it is what it is. So we've done our due diligence. I will most likely be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you'll be here with me. So until next time, friends. So that's all I got. Until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you. sources.
Sources.
Sources. Sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
Multiple sources.
Sources.
Sources. Sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
Sources.
Fighter jets were deployed.
Multiple sources. Sources.
Fighter jets were deployed.
Sources.
I've heard of now from 3 different people.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
I've heard of now from 3 different people.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. The lack of information, the lack of information, the lack of information, the lack of information.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.
The lack of information, 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 the lack of information,
Multiple sources.
Sources.
Sources. Sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
Multiple sources.
Sources.
Sources. Sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.
Sources.